Winter is almost over, but it's still chilly and I want something warm and comforting for dinner, but I don't feel like spending a lot of money. I don't want to order in. I'm gonna go check out what's on sale.
Micromanja, courageous cooking in a crowd kitchen.
I'm at my local supermarket and I'm gonna see what kind of meal I can make for $10. $1.59 for a bag of split peas. I'm thinking soup. I was inspired by those split peas. I'm gonna make split pea soup. I use smoked turkey wings. These are only $3 and change a pound and I need just under 2 pounds and it's gonna make a lot of food. Soup is one of the most economical and nutritious foods that you can put together as a meal. I mean, I'm gonna make 3 quarts of soup with this turkey wing, which only cost me $5.81, and this bag of beans cost $1.59, so we're under $10 for that, yet they sell a quart of this stuff for $10. I'm gonna make 3 quarts. I was so excited when I saw this smoked turkey because smoked turkey adds so much wonderful flavor. There's a lot of meat on this wing that's gonna go into the soup. And I'm breaking this down because it's a full wing. What I love about this soup is how simple it is to put together. I've got the split peas that I've rinsed. The turkey wing I broke down into 3 pieces at its joints. I already had an onion, so I chopped an onion. I already had celery, 2 stalks of celery with the leaves. I love using the leaves when I make soup. 2 carrots. I had some fresh dill, but if you don't have fresh dill, you could use dried dill, or you could use another herb altogether. And of course, salt and pepper. And water. That's it. One more ingredient is a little oil. I'm using olive oil, but you could use veggie oil, any kind of oil, really. And maybe a tablespoon or 2. You know, that's kind of a personal thing. Because honestly, everything is gonna go in this pot and it's all gonna come together. Onions first. Oh, I love that sound. Now, we're not trying to get color on these at all. We're just letting them sweat a little bit. Then I'm gonna throw in the carrots and the celery. And basically, you just want to give them a little heat to kind of release their fluids. If you really want to add some dark color, you could sweat it longer than that, but honestly, you don't need it. Really, turkey goes in. Peas go in. They're a little solid because I rinsed them, so they got a little, but that's okay. Once I put the water in. No, this is a quart. I'm gonna need to throw another quart in there. But the dill goes in just like that. You don't even need to chop it. I'm gonna go get another quart of water. If I were making this with sausage or something that wasn't with a bone, I might use stock as the liquid, but because I'm using a turkey wing, or if you used a ham bone, that bone will release all of its flavor and all of its collagen and it'll thicken the soup and oh man, I can't even tell you how good it is. I had about a half a teaspoon of salt and about a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper. Salt helps bring out all the flavors. If you're using a salted broth, you don't need to add salt, but I always add a little salt. And I also give it a little taste, even before it's cooked, just to make sure that it has some flavor. You can always add more salt later. Don't add too much salt at first. Now that all the ingredients are in the pot, I've turned the heat up to high. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer, cover it, and let it do its thing for 40 minutes. Soup is simmering away and I need to make something to go with it. So I'm gonna show you how to make one of my favorite things in the world, popovers. Popovers are 5 ingredients: eggs, milk, butter, flour, and salt. And then the 6th and 7th ingredient are high heat and trust. Trust that it will pop. I've got my oven heated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and all my ingredients are room temp and my butter is melted. The eggs, just get a good beat. You don't really need to whip them too much, but you want to break them down just a little bit. Then we add the milk. leave everything at room temp. It all comes together really nicely. The salt and the flour. Whoops! And you don't need a machine for this, but it would be neater. You can do it in a blender if you like. I like wearing flour. So that is how simple the batter comes together. Now, I have put it in the oven right away after making the batter, but there is a school of thought that it should rest for 30 minutes. So I'm actually letting my soup cook. I'm gonna let it rest for 30 minutes. It's been 40 minutes. It smells amazing. Now I'm gonna just take it off of the heat and just let it rest, because what happens when it rests, all the proteins relax and the collagen kind of oozes out of those turkey wings, and so good. I have popover pans, but if you don't have popover pans, you can use muffin pans, and if you don't have muffin pans, you can use a cast iron skillet and make one giant popover, and it's called a Dutch baby. Anyway, butter is the classic item to grease your muffin pans, but you know what? I'm using avocado oil. It works great. These are going into the hot oven for 5 minutes. What you're doing is heating up the vessel that your popovers are cooking in. So the minute that liquid hits the hot pan, poof. I pulled the turkey wings out of the soup, and now I'm going to use my immersion blender to make this into a smooth soup. Oven mitts, because this is hot. They have been heating. Make sure your batter is in something that's easy to pour. So I put mine in a big measuring cup, and you want to fill them up about halfway, and you're trying to do this as quickly as possible and as evenly as possible. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I might not get 12 out of this batter. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I only get 9, depending on how much I fill it up. It doesn't matter. See, I'm not going to get 12. In fact, I'm going to just fill the rest of these up. And then we want to put it back in the oven. Now, it goes back in the 425 degree oven for 25 minutes, and you do not peek. You do not open the door. You let it do its thing. This turkey meat is so delectable. And I tell you, in that 1.5 pounds of turkey wings, I've gotten at least 3/4 pound of just beautiful meat going back into the soup. All for $6. This is the time to taste and adjust if it needs it, but oh my gosh, that is so good. It needs no adjustment, just my face. I wish you could smell the smoked turkey and the pea soup and the popovers. I've got one for me, one for my director, but let's give a taste. Oh, look at the custardy goodness of the popover and the, oh my gosh. That is winter warmth. It's like a big hug. And you know what? This pot of soup is like 3 quarts of soup for $10. And the popovers, well, what can I say?
Micromanja, courageous cooking in a crab kitchen.